So Donald Trump had a call with Tim Walz, or Tim Walz had a call with Donald Trump, however you want to put it. Everyone in their own camp is saying that Donald Trump was the winner and Tim Walz was the winner. I don't know who was the winner, but I have an idea who is going to get the most out of it. Governor Tim Walz called me. Let's see. Oh, it was Walz who called Trump. It's important. With the request to work together with respect to Minnesota, it was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on similar wavelength. That sounds like that meeting with Mom Danny. The kind of things that Trump does, that he says a lot about the dude that he is talking about, but at the same time leaves this space to some kind of agreement. Crime is way down, but both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. President Donald J. Trump. Let me see what he said on his Truth Social. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that what we are looking for are all criminals that they have in their possession. Okay, so hand them over. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him in the near future. It's interesting that all this happened after the Signal Gate chats were dropped. I can imagine all those people that are literally in the government, not even tied to the government, but in the Minnesota government, tied on those chats. And Kash Patel already said that he's on that, reviewing all those connections, all those people, all those administrators of all those groups. It is interesting that not 24 hours later, I was finishing yesterday's live stream, and it's not last night. It was like 7 or 6 p.m. for me, and it was just entering the news that they had this call, because that's so fast that this was happening, but it was so convenient. That is basically after all this dropped. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota. Oh my God, Judge Dredd is coming to Minnesota. And so am I. We have had such tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place that we have touched, quote unquote. And even Minnesota, crime is way down, but both Governor Walz and I want to make it better. It's like so many people are making the comparison. You have millions of illegals in Texas, millions, 2 million people, 2 million illegals in Texas. In Minnesota, you have barely more than 130,000. And you have all these problems in Minnesota. The problem is not ICE's job. The problem is how they are resisting ICE's job. That has to stop. And I think that Trump has nailed that with that. Not only Trump, but the way, the way it has been exposed, this domestic terrorist operation has helped a lot.
Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and all Democrat leaders should turn over all criminal illegal aliens currently incarcerated in their prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with any illegal aliens with active warrants or known criminal histories for immediate deportation. Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all illegal aliens who are arrested by local police. And then thirdly, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes, especially violent crimes. If Governor Walz and Mayor Frey implement these common sense cooperative measures that I will add have already been implemented in nearly every single other state across the country, Customs and Border Patrol will not be needed to support ICE on the ground in Minnesota.
So that's it. That's like a separation of what is going on. Governor Tim Walz on his official account. I had a productive call with President Trump earlier today. He posted this before that, 2 hours before this. I'm going to go in order so we don't get this mess. He tweeted, I spoke to the president earlier. We had a productive conversation, and I explained to him that his staff doesn't have their facts straight about Minnesota. My thoughts in the Wall Street Journal. Look at that. This is, how can people frame this as a Tim Walz win if it's like, oh no, Trump is great. It's his staff who is, is confused about the actual facts about Minnesota. That's something. And then 2 hours later, I had a productive call with President Trump earlier today. I told him we need impartial investigations of the Minneapolis shootings involving federal agents and that we needed to reduce the number of federal agents in Minnesota. The president agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents in Minnesota and to talk to the Department of Homeland Security about ensuring the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is able to conduct an independent investigation as would ordinarily be the case. All right? Some people are saying that Trump was folding. He shouldn't have done this. This is what Tim Walz posted on the Wall Street Journal. Part of it. There's a longer article. Everyone wants to see our immigration laws enforced. No, not you with all the learning centers and all the fraud and all the people making bank in Minneapolis and all of Minnesota. That isn't what is happening in Minnesota. In recent weeks, masked agents have abducted children. They have separated children from their parents. They have racially profiled off-duty police officers. They have aggressively pulled people over and demanded to see their papers. They have broken into the homes of elderly citizens without warrants to drive them outside in freezing temperatures. I'm going to tell you something. This is very easy to disprove. If they have separated children from their parents, they have, what else? Have abducted children. If that had happened, if that had really happened, we would see that all over the mainstream media. You would see that everywhere. If one kid was actually kidnapped or abducted, we would see that everywhere. Guarantee that. There's absolutely no effing way that happens. And, okay, maybe that is happening. But if that happened, we would have seen that. Everywhere. There's absolutely zero chance this happens. All that Tim Walz claims it's happening in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, and I follow. I have a list with all, the people on the left, or all the libtards, and no, they are silent about everything. That isn't effective law enforcement. It isn't following the rule of law. It's chaos. It's illegal, and it's un-American. I have repeatedly appealed to President Trump to lower the temperature, but he refuses. I fear that his hope is for the tension between ICE agents and the communities they're ransacking to boil over, and he wants you to see more chaos on your TV screens. Protests turn into riots. More people get hurt. I find it funny. I was telling you that Minneapolis is like this test. It's like they're trying to doing this test in Minneapolis with the the signal gate, the signal chats, all the domestic terrorist organization to see how they can better implement this in other cities. And it's funny because when I searched for my own words on X, I found out several commentators from the left saying that, yeah, Minneapolis is a test, an experiment, but from Trump. He is experimenting with this Gestapo-like activities, with this, killing, execution of people on the street to see what happens. All right. Think about being deranged. Think about being insane. As in, okay, yeah, let's go execute people on the street. As in, that's the thing. And the worst part is, so many people agreeing with them. So many people agree that that is a thing, that the government is actually seeking to execute people on the street. And what is ICE doing? I want to remind everyone, and I ask the question, what is ICE doing? Even if they can be a bit excessive with, like the example we saw, they're trying to deport criminals. They're trying to, go to detention centers, hand over these illegals, and let's deport them. That's what ICE is trying to do, but they're not finding any help in Minneapolis. They're not finding any help in Minnesota. Maybe they will right now. I hope. Minnesotans aren't taking the bait. They are protesting loudly and urgently, but also peacefully, with the whistles. Those whistles are unnerving. They're helping their neighbors cope with this violent, lawless assault on people of color throughout the state, walking children to school safely, preparing mutual aid packages, and organizing to make sure these atrocities are well documented so that those responsible can face justice. I would like to know, what does Tim Walz say about the learning centers, the fraud, the billions, and maybe we have time to talk about Ilhan Omar today as well. Mayor Jacob Frey, because there was not only a call between Tim Walz and Donald Trump. Mayor Jacob Frey, you know, right? You know, the one who cried over George Floyd's casket. The one who cried over George Floyd's casket, that was embarrassing. I spoke with President Trump today and appreciated the conversation. I expressed how much Minneapolis has benefited from our immigrant communities. Somalians, amazing, yeah. The mega mind people. And it was clear that my main ask is that Operation Metro Search needs to end. The president agreed the present situation can continue. Now, let's see. That's why people are saying, Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. What does Taco Tuesday mean? Taco. Trump always chimps out. I think that is a word, right? That is a word. Yeah, benefited. How benefited? I don't know, but those were his words. But I don't think Trump is just chimping out or just going away from this. I think that this is a bigger play, and we are only 24 hours into this. I don't know how many commentators are saying that it's over. It's over. Trump folded. Some federal agents will begin leaving the area tomorrow, and I will continue pushing for the rest involved in this operation to go. Minneapolis will continue to cooperate with the state and federal law enforcement on real criminal investigations, but we will not participate in unconstitutional arrests of our neighbors or enforce federal immigration law. All right. We will not participate in unconstitutional arrests of our neighbors or enforce federal immigration law. So he said that. They will not enforce federal immigration law. I think that is, I think the amount of views this has in regards of the original post, the original tweet, yeah, that doesn't look like he's complying. That is pretty much, that should be illegal, right? Going against federal forces. It should be illegal, I think. Violent criminals should be held accountable based on the crimes they commit, not based on where they are from. But again, after the violent criminals are dealt with, we need to address the fact that there are people illegally in the United States. And again, the problem is that you are lenient after the criminal. You have dealt with the criminals, with the rapists, with the murderers, with all that scum. If you're lenient with the rest, that is going to be exploited all over again. That is the problem. I'm going to mention that that's why it's so important to pass the SAVE Act. Voter ID. It's so important to pass the SAVE Act and make sure to call your senator, make sure to call your congressman to make sure the SAVE Act is passed. I will continue working with all levels of government to keep our communities safe, keep crime down, and put Minneapolis residents first. I plan to meet with Border Czar Tom Homan tomorrow to further discuss next steps. And yeah, Sassafras says, you are effing cooked. You're a dumb F who should be in prison for fraud, as Gunther Eagleman mentions. And yes, I think that he is having the same hard time as in when Somalians forced him to eat that plate, how to say this, Somali platter, which tastes gross on you. I've been told. I am not thinking of eating that anytime soon. I don't know. That reminds me of those videos of food handling on TikTok. I wouldn't eat that if I were you, but I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. This goes on my Power Pundit channel. Make sure to check my Power Pundit channel. Much love and